The Jasper Clean Energy Project is now history. More on that decision, plus Carrie Schneider is back with a unique breed of dog on this week's visit with our friends at the DuBois County Humane Society, and Beth Stein and Scott Salmon with Will Read and Sing for Food are tonight's guests on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin tonight with tragedy in Martin County as the body of a missing Shoals woman has now been found. Just before 10:30 Sunday morning, the Martin County Sheriff's Department received a report that a body had been located in the White River just south of the Houghton Bridge. Upon their arrival, deputies along with Lagodi Police met and spoke with an individual who had found the body, who was later confirmed to be that of 41-year-old Christine Wright of Shoals. Conservation officers were called to assist in the recovery of Wright's body. The Sheriff's Department says Wright had been listed as missing since last seen on April 2nd. An autopsy concluded that Wright had died as a result of the drowning. Authorities say the manner of death will be determined at a later date, but they do not suspect any foul play. Returning to our lead story, the Jasper Clean Energy Project is no more. During last night's Jasper Utility Service Board meeting, Attorney Bill Kaiser informed the board that Twisted Oak Corporation CEO Jay Katashian intends to terminate the lease with the city for the project. The lease will formally end on June 20th. In a letter to the board and the city, Katashian stated that the project is no longer economically viable for several reasons. These included continued drops in price for alternative energy sources, the closing of other coal-fired plants across the area, and a push by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission for greater efficiency, among other reasons. Utility Service Board Chairman Wayne Sheeter says the decision is a result of a review that the board asked for following the January dismissal of a lawsuit filed by Healthy DuBois County. In spite of the project ending, Sheeter has no regrets about the city's handling of the project.
Throughout the process, things that by law had to be made public were made public. Before any final decision was made, the entire lease, which we were going to be voting on, was made available to the public. And so, what we were making a decision on, we feel was transparent.
Sheeter says the electric committee will meet once the lease has expired to determine what the next course of action will be. He also did not rule out continuing to pursue biomass as a way to restart the power plant. Several people representing HDC were also in attendance last night. Dr. Norma Kryline, who headed up the opposition to the project, was among them. She says, though this project is now over, health effects remain part of the equation.
Well, obviously we don't have any say in it because it was very clear from the press comments that they're going right back to biomass despite all the health concerns and trying to manipulate it into a concern for low-income people. If they have a concern for low-income people, they need to look at the health effects.
Now, HDC originally filed the lawsuit back in 2011. The lawsuit alleged that the city violated Indiana's open door law in 6 executive sessions. The sessions were held on August 24th, September 13th, September 23rd, and December 20th of 2010, and May 2nd and June 28th of 2011. The lawsuit's filing occurred one day before the agreement to lease the power plant to Twisted Oak Corporation was finalized. The DuBois County Council is set to look further into what the county is doing with its economic development income tax funds. Last night, the council decided to table 2 separate proposals for edit funds in light of their concerns. The first one was for $240,000 to DuBois Strong this year and $320,000 over each of the next 2 years. The second was a request from the DuBois County Airport Authority for $450,000 towards the construction of a new T-hangar at the Huntingburg Airport. County Council President Greg Kendall says it's important to ensure that the money is being spent wisely.
We can give people money if we have the money available, but it's one of those kind of things. We're not going to give anybody money and let them buy gold water faucets. You got to be accountable so that it's used in the proper way and it's not blown or wasted in any way. It's got to be needed, and it's got to be something that the taxpayers are going to benefit from.
Kendall says projects getting edit funds going forward will need to have some sort of return for the county.
Anytime you give anybody money, there's got to be a payback, somewhere along the line, whether it's through money back, or it's whether it's created jobs or it's created something for the benefit of the taxpayer. So that's the important thing.
The council met following last night's meeting for further discussion on that issue. In other business, the council heard from County Corrections Director J.P. Weissite concerning shortfalls at the center. Weissite stated that there is a good possibility of getting an additional $156,818 in funding from the State Department of Corrections, money that would help to alleviate the budget crunch. In the meantime, Weissite told the council he would likely need between $40,000 and $70,000 per year to make ends meet. After more debate on the issue, the council decided to support the center with the extra money, provided that Weissite came before the council at the end of each quarter instead of asking for the money all at once. That particular idea was proposed earlier in the day at the Du Bois County Commissioners meeting. Finally this evening, Jasper City officials are now looking to add another stop sign along Main Street. This morning, the Jasper Board of Public Works approved installing a stop sign on Main Street at the intersection with 11th Street. The decision comes after a citizen raised concerns about pedestrians walking along 11th Street and crossing Main Street where cars would be backing out of the parking lot near the library. Jasper Police Chief Mike Bennett told the board there had only been 3 accidents in the area within the last 3 years, and none of those were related to the issue at hand. Now, Jasper Mayor Terry Seitz says safety is the biggest reason for the change.
We determined to add a stop sign at 11th and Main simply to acknowledge that there is a change in the pedestrian pattern there, while also keeping the sign at 12th and Main because of the blind corner, and also knowing there's also patron traffic going to restaurants in that area too. So that being said, it's something we try not to go back to back to back on stop signs. This is a very unusual circumstance, and appreciate the citizen interest passing it through one of our council members, and we made that decision this morning.
Seitz says changing traffic patterns at the library also played a role in the decision. In other business, the board approved a new event associated with the Heartland Half Marathon. The Kids Fun Run is set to be held on Friday, August 29th as part of events leading up to this year's 3rd running of the race. Some concerns did arise over the initially proposed route for the 1.1-mile run. The original route traversed the downtown square, something that Seitz pointed to as a problem due to Friday night traffic. The approval of the event thus is contingent on changes being made to the route. All right, coming up after the break, Carrie is back with our friends at the Du Bois County Humane Society, plus your local forecast, sports with Kurt Guxell, and Inform with Beth Stein and Scott Salmon. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.